Are you surprised that they've put up more runs in the first 2 games of the playoffs for them than any team ever?
I mean, yeah, surprised, a little bit surprised, but the atmosphere. I mean, it's hard to not be extra motivated playing in Toronto. I mean, I can't even describe the scene on game one, the scene on game two, but they came out swinging it. You know, they're trying to make a statement, and they made a statement.
Hey, KP, what was it like? I mean, you're talking about the atmosphere. What I want to know is what was it like? Because if you watched that Vladimir Guerrero grand slam yesterday, it was almost like he knew what was happening. He took a 2-0 changeup. It was like he was just sitting there waiting for that 98 in, and he did not miss it. When he hit that ball into the, I don't know if it was the second or third deck out there in left field, that place was as loud and as crazy as I've seen a baseball stadium in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the second loudest I've ever heard it, aside from Jose Batista's, bat flip game. But it was very similar. I mean, it was like this crazy buildup. It was so loud. He took the pitch, it was really loud. And then there's this moment where it just gets really silent right as the pitch is coming in. You hear the sound of the bat, and then it just explodes. And then it went on forever and ever and ever. And it was one of the best scenes that I had seen in baseball in a long time. That and, what they did for Trey Yesavage when he came out of the dugout. Both curtain calls were just electric. I mean, the decibel levels were, into the 110s. It was just insane. And, from first pitch, there was a little moment there when they got up a little bit, and it turned into a little bit of a party there. You could tell people were able to exhale and just kind of enjoy the game a little bit. Blue Jays did a great job of just trying to get some guys in the game that maybe hadn't pitched in the in the playoffs yet, trying to keep guys fresh in the bullpen. The Yankees did a good job of getting a little bit of momentum maybe for game tomorrow, but ultimately it was just a dominating 2 days performance by the Blue Jays.
What did you see from Trey Yesavage? Were you able to see field level from him? Because from TV level, it looks like a creative player.
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, I didn't get a chance to go down there on field level. I was up in the press box. Eventually, I went down to the Sportsnet booth, which is in left center field, right near where Vladdy hit his home run. They have some better TV set up there, but I needed to watch it from a fan's perspective at home, because I just couldn't make sense of how awful the swings were on all of his pitches. I've never seen a pitching performance like that. Especially from a 22-year-old kid with 3 starts. And the bigger story going into it was what he had said going into that start is he was built for this moment. And I'm thinking this could go one of 2 ways. Either this kid really knows he's built for the moment, or he put his foot in his mouth. But after what I saw yesterday, it's got to be one of the best pitching performances I've ever seen, live.
KP, I mean, you're super fresh out of the game. You were playing baseball earlier this season in the major leagues. How do you prepare for someone so unique like that? There was some news about how the Yankees love the traject system, which many teams use to simulate pitches as a pitching machine, right? That simulates the arm angle and the pitch spin, velocity, etc. They can't bring that on the road, and they didn't have time to prepare for that with Yesavage as they went 3 games with the Red Sox. Do you think that would have helped, or is this dude just so nasty and so different that the first time you see him for an opposition, it's really difficult?
Yeah, no doubt in my mind it would have helped. But, I mean, this was one of my talking points pregame is you can only do so much to prepare for a guy. You have the traject, you have the spreadsheets, you have the video. I gave an example of opening day this year. I was facing Garrett Crochet. I was at home. I knew I was facing him for a whole week. I watched all the video. We had all the meetings. I had all the information. I had the traject. Nothing prepared me for what I actually saw when I got in the box. And I was saying it was going to be a challenge for the Yankees hitters. At least the first time through the order, I felt like they were going to be a little bit more passive. They needed to actually pick up that funky arm action. They needed to see some pitches off of him, try to pick up that release point. They could have had anything and everything. I don't think anything was going to prepare them for what they got yesterday.
KP, we're talking about Trey Yesavage. So different. I said it's kind of like remember Josh Colmenter? I don't know if you played against him or faced him.
We
kind of threw
that comp.
But he threw 85. This guy throws 95 plus with a nasty split. Colmenter was kind of the high fastball before it was cool, and he had a little changeup. but this dude is legit 95 plus with that split finger. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody, and I don't care what machine you have, until you actually step in the box and see it. You saw the Yankees they had no answer for, especially his split finger. It's probably the best split finger I've seen a guy throw in a long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I mean, I'm recently out of the game. You're not that far removed. I mean, stuff is stuff. Everyone has great stuff. It's like what really separates guys at this level. You're splitting hairs. When you do get a guy with the uniqueness of Trey Yesavage, the uniqueness of like a Garrett Crochet, that's what makes him super elite. And obviously this kid has the intangibles too. He has the confidence. He has the belief in himself. He was able to kind of control his heartbeat. There was a big conversation locally here about when John Schneider came out and announced him as the game 2 starter. And, there were some people kind of, second questioning that. He's 22 years old. Is he built for this moment? 3 major league starts. And from a player's perspective, I kept trying to remind people they're not putting him in there because of his stuff. They know the type of human being. They know the type of competitor. There's a reason they brought him up earlier in this year. It was for this moment. They knew who they were getting when they drafted him, that he was built for moments like this, and he went out and proved it yesterday.
The amount of runs that have been scored, I get it, 2 teams that score a lot of runs, but seeing some of the balls that were flying out, Ernie Clement front-footing, one-handing a ball, do you feel like the ball is traveling different? And if they have to come back to Toronto and the roof is closed, does that change it? Or is it just the playoff adrenaline that's making some of these balls go out?
And I mean, the conspiracy theorists in me say the balls are a little bit different too. But I mean, the roof being opening was definitely a big factor. It was a conversation. It was something that, I mean, the weather couldn't be any better here. So thankfully that they opened it up. But there was a back and forth between Major League Baseball and the Toronto Blue Jays, kind of begging them for it to be open because the weather was so nice. But if you would have asked anyone who that potentially would have favored, people would have said the Yankees. That's a team that's kind of reliant on the home run a little bit more, slug a little bit more than the Blue Jays. But yeah, I mean, the joke was with the Ernie Clement home run. I was like, if you only had to hit it 93 or 94, maybe I could have played a little bit longer to get one out. But it's the Blue Jays offense. Just, I mean, I'm almost at a loss for words. I think what the hitting coaches has, and that's kind of, I think, the X factor kind of behind the closed doors. I haven't yet to have that conversation with him. I ran into him in the hallways, but I really kind of want to know, the culture's completely changed here. Guys have bought into kind of playing old school baseball, like being tough outs, being okay. I think we always talk about trying to be so perfect in the batter's box, and it's so difficult to be perfect. I think what they've done a good job is, here are your strengths. If you're going to chase in the area of those strengths. Don't chase somewhere where you're not going to be able to handle the ball or do some damage. But every guy that goes up to the plate has a very distinct plan of passing it to the next guy, making it harder on the pitcher to get you out. And some mistakes were made. As you continue to just wear out pitchers, mistakes are made. And the Blue Jays did a really good job of getting guys on base and making it really tough to pitch around. Those top 4 guys in their lineup are the ones that really slug in their lineup. Kind of like AJ mentioned, that at bat goes completely different if there's a base open and you're facing Vladdy there. But he got into a 2-0 count. He took that 2-0 changeup and he was looking for one pitch and he got that pitch and didn't miss it.
KP, hold up. Did Kratz just say that the Blue Jays are juicing the ball somehow, or the Major League Baseball changed the balls? No. I think no, not you. I said Kratz. I think Kratz just accused the Blue Jays of not using the humidor, or I don't know, maybe using corked bats. I'm not sure. Kratz, is that what you said? Because I swear you said if you could hit a ball 92 or whatever it was that Clement hit, you could still play.
I said I would still be playing if I could get away with 93 and hit a home run. But you guys all played in the postseason, adrenaline.
Adrenaline too, though.
Adrenaline's a crazy thing, but talking about that play too, where the margins in those games are so fine in the playoffs, and the difference in Ernie Clement, having the ability to, feel like he can get the ball in the air to any part of the ballpark, was really Aaron Judge kind of misplaying that ball down the line. Instead of it being a double, it's a triple. Those little, things that happen in playoff games, ultimately change like the outcomes of games. You get that runner at second base, maybe a guy like Ernie Clements asked to kind of bunt there or have a good team at bat and move the ball the other way. The fact that there was a runner at third base there, he could be ultra aggressive on that curveball, and just knowing he had to get the ball up in the air, that wasn't a swing where he was trying to hit a home run. He just did a really good job of staying through the baseball, getting the ball in the air, spun it the right way, and got rewarded with hitting a home run. But maybe that's more about the roof being open and, the wind blowing a little bit. But just 1 through 9, they're just such a tough at bat.
By the way, I tell you where the balls aren't juiced, and maybe they need to close the roof, is in Seattle. I don't know if you saw the games out here, but the first game, I think it was J.P. Crawford hit one like 114 with 28-degree launch angle, and the outfielder caught it, not even on the warning track. So I don't know if it's a marine layer. Maybe they need to close the roof in Seattle because the ball ain't going nowhere in Seattle.
Yeah, it was a big discussion too, like earlier when I was playing in Texas, that early on, historically, that played as a hitter's ballpark, but guys were complaining about the same stuff. Guys are good at understanding like exit velocity and trajectory, launch angle. It should be a home run most of the time, and guys were not getting rewarded in Texas. And then we looked it up, and Texas was a top 5 worst place to hit, but number 1 in baseball was Seattle. So they need to figure out something there, because over the recent history, there's been a lot of players that have come in there as free agents, and they have really bad years. So there's something with how big the stadium is, the marine layer, but that's a place that really needs to get rid of the humidor and reward guys for hitting a ball 114. He should be rounding the bases, celebrating with his teammates. Instead, it's just an F8.
FT fam, let's talk about Superpower. Eric Kratz is a proud Superpower customer, and he's going to give us more of the personal experience. But I'll just start it with this. You ever go to the doctor and the doc's just like, oh, drink more water? Are you looking for more data, more of a game plan? Superpower does that for you. They give you the experience that athletes get with teams.
The lab results came back for me. Now it streamlines everything that I kind of had an idea of, but now it really lets me focus on the things that I'm deficient in, the things that I have good lab test results from, and I could go in that direction I want to go.
Nutritional guidance, supplement suggestions, you name it. There's so much more info to check out at superpower.com. And you can lock in the special $199 price while it lasts. After you sign up, they're going to ask you how you heard about them. Mention FT to support the show. Your biology decoded, your blueprint activated with Superpower.
What do you think the clubhouse feeling is about the comments that were made from both sides throughout the year? Michael Kay earlier saying the Blue Jays aren't a first place team. And more recently, Buck Martinez saying they're a very good team because of X, Y, and Z. What do you think the clubhouse feeling is on that? Because Aaron Boone commented on it, so it's clearly being heard.
Yeah, I was more concerned about the recent comments that Buck Martinez made and motivating the Yankees. Thinking back to the year I was with Atlanta and we won that big game 2, and things had come out about Orlando Arcia, kind of poking fun at Bryce Harper. It got blown up. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it became bulletin board material. And the player Bryce Harper was, and then the player he was after being that little extra motivated, was really the biggest difference in the series. And I was very concerned for the Blue Jays and the Yankees using that as extra motivation. I think the other way around, I think the stuff that Michael Kay had said was, so far removed that, you could use it as motivation a little bit, but it wasn't, today's news. I thought today's news was going to really wake a sleeping giant. The fact that Aaron Boone commented on it meant that not only did he hear it, but his players had heard it. But you got to be careful in these situations. You don't want to give the other team extra motivation. But on that note, this is where I was kind of thinking last night with everything that happened. I was in a very similar situation the Yankees were in when I was with the Blue Jays here in 2015. We lost both games, and ultimately we came back and won that series. I'm thinking how the media is playing a factor in this. When I was with Toronto, still the sense from the media was not that it was over by any means, but there was still kind of this motivational. They left this window open for us a little bit. I'm wondering what it's like being in the New York Yankees clubhouse yesterday after going down 0-2 and just knowing how difficult the media can be in New York. If they're able to kind of come back from this, that's kind of the thing I'm going to look forward to getting to New York tomorrow, kind of listening and kind of navigating, what is said, what's kind of the feel in the Yankees clubhouse, and if they're able to really come back from this.
KP, who are the best athletes on a baseball field?
The shortstop and the center fielder typically.
Okay, because I was going to say catcher, because I saw two first pitches this weekend from the Blue Jays. One of them was money from a catcher, Russell Martin, and one of them from an outfielder couldn't make it that far. So I don't know what happened to your arm in the last 9 to 10 months, but the fact that you can't throw a first pitch actually is kind of embarrassing for the foul territory family, because we've all done them and we've all thrown strikes, and then there's this. Blah, blah. Like, what happened?
What happened was I was, let me tell you something. I'm gonna step back real quick, right? I just got done playing. I'm walking around the stadium. Everyone's like, "Man, you look great. You could still play." And I just wanted to remind everyone there's a reason I got released, and there's a reason, even though I look like I could play, I can't do it anymore. And I was letting everyone know I was closing the door. I was closing the yearbook. I'm letting everyone know I don't got it anymore. I may look the part, but I can't play. So is it as embarrassing as it was? I'll tell you, I've never been so damn nervous in my whole life. I'll be honest with you. I was like, I had known about it for a week, and I was like really excited to do it. I did the show. I watched Russ do it. And honestly, I was a little bit pissed that Russ just fired one in there like he had been playing his whole damn life. Like he had never stopped playing, right? And then I'm down in there. They do this whole thing. I walk out, and it was a top 10 moment in my life going out there. But I get on the mound. My legs are shaking. The baseball feels like a balloon. Like it's got no weight to it. And I'm like, if maybe I can just float it in there. But damn, yeah, it was a little embarrassing. It was a little embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's all about how you start your day, and you clearly showed us just now. If you want to have success, you're not starting your day off well. Make your bed one time. This isn't. We're not on the MLB Network here. This is foul territory. Get your bed in order as soon as you wake up. It looks trash. That is trash. And then you would have thrown a first pitch strike. All right, rookie.
Hey, did you also, when you threw out your first pitch, were you in full tux, full suit attire?
I was going to say it looked like a European cut on your tux, because that job was tight.
It was tight. It was tight. The joke I kept telling everyone is, I never got my signing day. I never got draft day. So like wearing the suit with the jersey over is like, yeah, I finally made it. That's what it looks like. But yeah, that thing was tight. I'm not going to lie.
Are those joggers?
That's a tailored suit, my friend.
Wow.
So embarrassed.
KP,
one day 2025 tailored suit. Okay.
KP, one day we'll have a talk about suits on the air, and we'll discuss.
Hey, I have a question. Hey, I have a question for you. And obviously, we're in much different positions in terms of media, but I can't go. I can't find it within myself to go inside the clubhouse. How long did that take you to kind of feel? And your responsibility is a little bit different than mine, but I feel like I can't cross that line yet. How long does it take you to feel like you should go in there? You feel comfortable going in there?
Listen, I've been doing this for a long time. I was doing this when I was playing, KP. In 2011 was the first time I did this, and we're in the postseason, and we're in the Tigers. We're in the playoffs, and I'm doing the Tigers, and I was in the AL Central. I'm going in there having meetings with Jim Leland, who manages the Tigers, and I'm playing against him 19 times a year, and he's giving me secrets. And I look at him, I go, hey, Humperdink's his nickname. I'm like, hey, Hump, you know that I still play, right? And he goes, yeah, you're too stupid to remember anything I say anyway, so don't worry about it, right? and then I walk in there, and I'm Justin Verlander, Miggy Cabrera, all these guys who I just played 20 times a year before, and they're looking at me. And to this day, I tell people this all the time, it's still awkward as hell for me to walk in the clubhouse. Not because I don't know the guys, because of foul territory, I'm very fortunate. I get to know a lot of these guys, and they know me from foul territory and from Fox, but it's still awkward. Like I'm like, all right, I'm in here and I have to do it, but I also am like, can we get out of here? I just need to talk to one person. It's like I want to just get out. I want to get out because I know it's.
I mean, I'm also like so close removed that like I know a lot of these guys. Like I played with a lot of these guys, and my big thing is, one, I don't really have to be in there for what I'm doing. It would be like nice just for me to kind of like learn some stuff as I maybe continue to progress in this industry. But I also don't want someone to feel obligated to like come over and say hi, because if I was in their position and I was still playing and there was someone part of the media that was right out of the game that I knew, you kind of feel obligated to at least go say hi, see how they're doing and stuff, you know. So I part of me wants to kind of just go into the Yankee side because I've never been in there, and I kind of just maybe want to get kind of a feel for what it looks like and what it kind of feels like to kind of help me with what I'm supposed to be kind of reporting on. But it's been hard for me to kind of cross that line.
Listen, yesterday, I'll use this. I told this on the air yesterday. Scuba was pitching, and obviously I know Scuba. We've had him on the show. I've talked to him a million times. He's great. Well, he's pitching yesterday. I'm in the Tigers clubhouse, and he's walking right at me. And I try to go up to guys and say hi. Just say hi, good luck, have a great show. You know, Bo, great game, Bo. Scuba walks up to me, and he's, you know, and I'm like, some guys starting pitchers are so like, I can't talk to you. So he walks up to me and he just smiles and goes, hey, and sticks out his fist and gives me a fist bump. And I'm like, hey, have a great game. And then I was like, because I don't want to, starting pitchers don't want to lock their eyes. So some guys make it easy, some guys don't, but just be yourself, man. Like, enjoy it and go in the Yankees clubhouse because it's kind of cool, actually. And their Kratz will tell you it's cool.
Kratz? Is it worth seeing?
It's worth seeing. It's one of the best ones for sure. They did it very pro style. You'll see.
Yeah, that might be the easier start of like a place that I didn't play. I know guys there, but like it's still kind of personal, like going into like the Blue Jays clubhouse. I know a lot of the staff. The players, obviously a lot of turnover, but maybe that would be a good place to start tomorrow.
Yeah, it can be scary, but yeah, once you jump in there, at least
make
take a peek.
Comfortable.
Yeah,
make
yourself
sit on the couch. Sit on the couch.
Do not sit on the couch.
Yeah.
Do not sit on the couch.
Walk in.
Hazing.
Hey, would you advise like the best way? Walk in and just go straight to the refrigerator, pull out like a Gatorade or a water,
and then go sit in judge's chair. Sit in judge's chair. Sit in judge's chair. Put your feet up, and then do that. Just be like,
go through Jazz's shirts. Go through Jazz's shirts.
When he comes back from the cage, I'm just sitting in his chair, feet up.
Yeah, he would love that.
and then immediately ask him for a signed bat.
Exactly. Yeah. Game used jersey. Game used jersey.
You mind if I get that jersey when you're done?
Yeah. Go up to each starting pitcher and just be like, "What's up?" Just wanted to say hello.
Yeah, who's starting tomorrow? Just go up to who's starting tomorrow and just
Rodon.
Yeah. He'll love that. Yeah. Just be like, oh, I love following your wife on Twitter. She always like posts about your starts. Like, what do you think she's gonna say after this one today? All right, we're off the rails.